Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on the Crew 2, where on this one I'm going to be going through a load of the Easter eggs as well as a couple of cool locations that Ubisoft and Ivory Tower have hidden within this game's vast map. So let's get into it. So the first thing is a little reference Easter egg, which I actually stumbled on while looking for a different Easter egg, and I think it might be a Pokemon reference. If you zoom into the east side of Detroit just like so, you'll be able to see what, at least to me, looks quite like a Pokeball. I'm not actually sure if this is an intended reference though. I'll put a poll in the top right hand corner of the video so you can vote on whether you think this is intended or whether it's just a coincidence. As far as I know, I'm the only person on YouTube who has shown this in a video, so let me know what you think, because I'm really not that sure. Next up, we have Area 51, which is more of a location which a lot of people do know about, although if you have never been there, you should definitely check it out. It's in the middle of the desert in the southwest of the map. It's a small complex with a car park and various buildings surrounding a UFO which has some pretty cool looking blue lights underneath. There's also some large communication towers, but rather little security. Near to this complex is a crash site of a rocket. It has the US flag on it, and it's been snapped clean in half, in fact quite almost worryingly clean in half. Whether this has any links to the UFO nearby, I can't really tell, but if you do have any theories, once again, let me know in the comments. Next up is a reference, but a reference to a video game rather than a film. If you go onto the map and look at Washington DC, and about this area you'll find the White House, but it's in front of the White House on the grass, which you should look at. Here you'll find loads of crisscrossing paths and tracks, which if you look at from the right angle will make up the Assassin's Creed logo. I really like how well hidden this is, and while you will definitely notice it if you do flick onto the map in this area, a lot of people still do not know about it, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have Bigfoot, which is definitely my all-time favourite Easter egg in this game. You can find him between the North and South Everglades, usually in a clearing. I found him just here, although I'm pretty sure he can spawn anywhere in this area. I found him almost straight away, although I've seen some people searching for ages to find him. I'd recommend flying over the area in a helicopter if you have one, as this will speed up the process of finding him, as you can fly quite low and also quite slowly, which you can't really do in a plane. He runs around quite a lot and changes direction, which is why it may take you a while to find him, and it also makes getting a good view of him quite tricky. It really is quite hard to keep up to him when you're in a car. Going into video or photo mode though, as you can see, you can get quite a good look at him, and you quickly realise that Ivory Tower have not spent very long designing the textures on this guy. Overall, it's still a really cool Easter egg just because of how interactive and fun it is. It's great fun to go there with a friend to try and find him. Next is a location rather than an Easter egg. I included it because it's a really cool place which a lot of people don't know about. So it's in the kind of southeast direction, going from Los Angeles, just around here. From the map it just looks like a small city, but it's actually a very large plane graveyard. There's loads to explore here. You can damage some parts of the planes, there's loads of jumps, and it's also really fun to mess around with friends. Another Easter egg slash location is on the very far west of the map. In fact, it's so far on the west that it's actually out in the middle of the ocean. This is something I found the first time I ever played this game. I was hoping there'd be some kind of larger islands which you could maybe fly to and then drive around. There weren't, although I did stumble upon this tiny island with the words help spelled out using some large rocks. I think this could possibly be a reference to a movie. I think it might be one of the Tom Hanks ones, although I'm not sure. If you do know the exact reference, then let me know in the comments. I'd also be interested to see whether the word changes depending on what language you're playing the game in. Do let me know if you know the answers to this. So next up is another video game reference, but rather than a reference to a more modern game like Assassin's Creed, it's actually a reference to Pac-Man. This is the one I was looking for when I stumbled across the Pokemon reference, or at least what I think is a Pokemon reference. So it's pretty much in the same place on the east side of Detroit once again. I really like this one. It's quite easy to see from the map, but you'd never notice it if you're on the ground. You'll quite easily be able to make out the little Pac-Man icon. Next up is the little three-eyed face which you can see in the water around New York. It's just around here if you want the location. It's quite hard to see if you're in a helicopter or a plane or anything, but it's much more noticeable from the map. Whether this is a reference, I'm not sure. As far as I know, I don't think it is. I think they just put it in there because, I mean, why not? If you do have any theories, or if you do actually know what it is a reference to, then please let me know in the comments. Up next is yet another game reference to another classic game, Space Invaders. You'll find it in the docks near Los Angeles. In this location here, you'll see a few green shipping containers arranged very creatively to look like one of these Space Invader aliens, which I find pretty cool. Next up is another really cool place, Cape Canaveral. It's just north of Miami, so it's actually not too far from the home you get in the crew to, where you've got obviously all your cars and planes and stuff. However, a lot of people still haven't been here before. There's a huge space station here, obviously to replicate Kennedy Space Station, with a nice rip-off NASA logo. There's a full-on rocket ready to launch here as well. It's absolutely massive, and there's just so much detail. Even though the place is so big, it is all really detailed. There's offices, there's car parks, there's everything here, so it's really good fun to explore. Next is another movie reference. It's along the east coast this time, in this location here. If you zoom all the way into the garden of this house, you will find 30 gravestones, all with exactly the same name. Emmett Brown, more commonly known as Doc from the Back to the Future series. There's also a date on there, which many of you will be able to reference to the movies. I really like how detailed this Easter egg is, so you can definitely give that place a visit if you are a fan of the franchise. Up next is yet another video game reference, this time to the Zelda series. If you go to this exact location in San Francisco, you will find the Triforce symbol on one of the rooftops. It's made out of bushes. I don't quite know how the bushes are growing on a concrete rooftop, but it's quite a cool little Easter egg, and it's very well hidden. You'd have to be very lucky to stumble on this accidentally. Last but not least is probably the most random but well hidden Easter egg in the game. If you go to the very north of the map in this location, you will find a small town. Just outside the town is a train station, which has a sign on either side. The sign reads, "Don't text while driving," and stop reading this sign. It's quite an amusing little detail, but it's also very random. Anyway, that's all of the Easter eggs and cool locations I have for you in this video. If you would like to see similar content, then please do let me know. I'm thinking of maybe doing a video just for cool locations, so let me know if you would or wouldn't like to see that video. I also wanted to say an absolutely huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Whether you've been here from the start or if you've only just subscribed recently, it really does mean so much to me, as I've recently hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much once again. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and you've learned something new about the hidden features in this game. Anyway, that's all for this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one.